Alright, folks, welcome back to Skyrim. And today, excuse me, we're going to be looking for the Red Guard woman. And also, let's see. I think I'm also going to try to defeat the Saints bandit leader as well to clear a few of these quests off. We'll see what we have time for. At any rate, we're going to start by, well, let's see actually. Whoop.
Heard about you and your honey.
I did not mean to do that. It doesn't look like I can sell much.
Birds.
And do a little bit of business at Arcadia's Cauldron.
I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. If not, let me know. I might have it stored. You look rather pale. Ah, so you're an alchemist then.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to buy your salt piles and blister wort. I'm gonna start stocking.
Come back anytime if you need a remedy.
Thank you, Arcadia. I'm gonna start stocking blister wort primarily because I want to plant some at the farm. Because if I do that, I will be able to make healing potions more
Come
frequently.
on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
I think this is about the... Oh. Cool. And that's next to Rorikstead. Okay, let's see.
Oh, there once was a hero named Ragnar the Red who came riding.
Did you know some Alakir warriors are looking for a Red Guard woman?
Are you sure? Oh no. They found me? I need your help, please. Come with me. I need to speak to you privately. Quickly, come with me.
Sure.
Oh, you talk and you lie and you drink a lot of mead. Now I think it's high time that you lie down and bleed. And so then came clashing and slashing of steel as the brave lass Matilda charged in full of zeal. And the braggart named Ragnar was boastful no more.
So, are you working with them? You think you can take me? You so much as touch me and you're going to lose fingers. I mean it. I'll cut you in half. So the Alakir know where I am? What do they offer you? Gold? How many more of them are coming? Tell me.
Well, they just asked me to find you.
You can't tell them. Please, I need your help and there isn't anyone I can trust here in the city.
Maybe. What do you want?
I am not the person that the people of Whiterun think I am. My real name is Eamon. I am a noble of House Saadia in Hammerfell. The men who are looking for me, the Alakir, they are assassins in the employ of the Aldmeri Dominion. They wish to exchange my blood for gold. I need you to root them out and drive them away before they find me and drag me back to Hammerfell for an execution.
And how am I supposed to get rid of them?
They're mercenaries, only in it for the money. They're led by a man named Kamatu. Get rid of him, and the rest will scatter. I don't dare show my face, lest they recognize me, so you'll have to find out where they are.
Alright, well, I think I know where they're hiding.
You've seen them? Then waste no time. Head there at once. The longer they're around, the more danger I'm in. Please, kill Kamatu and end this nightmare for me.
Alright.
Find me the moment the Alakir are taken care of.
We drink to our youth, today's come and gone.
So here's why I think her story doesn't add up, and we're going to Rorikstead. If they were assassins, employee of the Aldmeri Dominion, the only thing that they would need to bring back is her head. They wouldn't drag her back to Hammerfell for an execution, a public execution of a noble. For the Aldmeri Dominion in a province that already signed the treaty, the second treaty of Strassmakai, to end the war after they fought these elvish overlords for 5 years. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Her story doesn't add up. They're gonna drag her back to Hammerfell for a public execution. No. I do not think so. And if you know anything about the Alakir, they only take orders from the Alakir. They're certainly not going to take orders from the Aldmeri Dominion. They barely listen to the Redguard government that's in Hammerfell. And for money? That dog just ain't gonna hunt. It makes no sense. So I'm afraid Saadia has to go. She has to go back to Hammerfell. How do you wind up all the way over here? Ooh. Can I get some perks yet? I don't think so. No. Not yet. Although I think off camera I need to explore these trees a lot more because I'm not very familiar with the new perks that come with Ordinator perks of Skyrim, and my alchemy is just not high enough. Yeah, this is what I'm after: Green Thumb and Physician. You may choose a type of. That's a pretty good perk. Health. Yeah, I want to check restoration real quick. Let's see. Dual casting teaches restoration. Disease damage. That's pretty cool. Huh. Rapidly regenerate equal to half. This is really good. That's good. Actually, that makes wards viable. That's silence from Oblivion, basically. Light wielder. Whew. For words generated by Spellbreaker. These are pretty good. Wheel of Life. That's pretty good. Actually, restoration is... Turn undead. So this is the... Okay, so that's like the banishment spells. My secret flame. Blesses or cures, reduces armor and magic resistance. Okay, so restoration is pretty useful. I'll probably grab that. Alteration is one of the ones that I'm really after, though. And the reason I want to spec into alteration is because the the magic resistance. Now there is a quest you can do in Riften that sends you basically all over Skyrim. And it gives you a thing called, I think it's Mara's Boon or Mara's Blessing. Basically, it gives you, I think it's 30% magic resistance, just flat. Just walking around, 30% flat magic resistance as an active effect. So if I combine that with my Breton racial ability and one other resist magic, I'm basically immune to magic damage, which that becomes more and more useful, I think, as you go up, because if it gets too easy, I'm just going to keep boosting the difficulty. I think right now we're in a good place where I deal a lot of damage, but I also receive a very significant portion of that damage back, because like two-handers still basically one-shot me if they get close. I mean, if I do a timed bash with a torch just right, I can interrupt their attack long enough to not die immediately, but I think generally we're in a pretty good place as far as combat goes. And I might edit the Wildcat settings a little bit, because I haven't decided if I want longer combat or shorter combat, but it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because longer combat, basically your enemies just become damage sponges and you feel like your spells have no effect. Shorter combat, and you run into this kind of issue where it's either over really quickly for your benefit or for your detriment. So it goes one of two ways, basically. Ah, Golden Hills Plantation. I have returned. It's so quaint. Yeah, while I'm here, go ahead and snag all this. Because I only have 3 anyway, so it's not gonna hurt. And we can just grab all these ingredients. I think the reason I have lavender and tundra cotton planted... Oh, I have a blisterwort planted. How nice. And how many blisterworts did I grab? I can go ahead and start replacing. 4. Nice. So we'll go ahead and do this real quick. And you guys can let me know in the comments if you don't want to watch stuff like this. I don't mind doing a lot of the leveling off camera. I would like to get to level 81 at some point, and that's going to be really difficult. It's going to be a lot of standing in the middle of town with a detect life spell, just shimmering. I hope this regrows. Actually, I wasn't harvesting those because I wasn't sure if they would regrow or not. And I think the reason I have lavender, let's see, lavender, resist magic. Okay, yeah, that's why I have those. So let's do, while I'm thinking about it, let's plant a lavender. Alright. And we'll do tundra cotton. And that'll give us resist magic potions, which I might just carry a few of those around as opposed to
Yes?
Okay, I didn't leave that there. That's good. And I might just carry those around as opposed to actually going for 100 magic resist naturally. Because if you carry 10 of those, it weighs what, about 5 pounds, and it's functional infinite because you don't really need to. You don't need to get 100 of baseline magic resist with your character if you can get up to it while you're fighting enemies that are dealing magic damage, which usually are just dragons. That's the real magical damage threat that you face. I mean, some powerful mages, hag ravens, are difficult to deal with, along with Forsworn Briarhearts get a really good spell menu later in the game, if you want to call it that. And they become somewhat difficult to deal with in the later levels.
We're gonna get it, Sizzle.
Come on in. Just stoked the fire. Take a seat and get the coal down.
Got something for you, buddy.
Do you have news of our quarry?
I've seen the woman you're looking for.
You have? Where? Tell me now.
She's in the Bannered Mare and she knows you're out here.
We cannot go after her. Not without drawing attention. You must bring her to us. Lead her to the Whiterun stables, outside of the city. We will wait for you there. All right, then.
Works for me. So since we're not going to be fast traveling and resetting the world map, I'm going to go sleep for a little while. And we're going to make a nighttime drive to Whiterun. Because I want to give them time to actually get there. There we go. Because I know that they don't just like immediately spawn in. Alright, a little bit of parkour with the horse.
What do you need, my thing?
Oh, you know,
Honor to you, my thing.
I want to test something real quick while I'm here. Oops. Can I? Thank you. Let's do restore health. Okay, so this is pretty strong actually. What? Why did it? Oh, weird. Carry about 5 of those. And we'll go ahead and drop all this off. And I was a fool again, so we're going to grab the salt piles out of here. Alright. Did I put the... There is something else that I wanted to do before I forgot, because this would not be good. I think I'm carrying... Yep. I am going to leave the black soul gems until I know that I'm going to use them, because... Come on. Do the thing.
What's the hell?
Thank you. Because I don't want to like nail a skeever with a soul trap spell and then fill a black soul gem with a lesser soul. That is such a huge waste. And I think I have... Whoops. Is this a shield rack? Oh no, it's just a... something to poke your eye out with. Huh. Thought I had the Axe of Whiterun. Oh boy, I'm losing stuff already. Alright, let's... Well, here we go. I want to get rid of most of this stuff. Largely because I'm eventually going to get so cluttered with books and other assorted stuff that it's just not going to be worth it to have all this crap in my inventory, and then it's going to be hard to sort through the new letters that I get giving me new quests. I could have sworn... Oh, okay, I do. I want to make sure I didn't lose that for no reason. Got a little armory.
Long life to you, Thane.
I want to do and complete the companion's quest line. The issue I have with that is I don't know if you can cure being a werewolf. Oh, I was supposed to sleep. I don't know if you can cure being a werewolf at all. I think that at least every time I've tried to do it, you wind up in this situation where you go back into the tomb, you do the thing where you pour the
Honor to you, my Thane.
blood into the, I guess you'd call it an altar, and then you don't fight your wolf spirit, if that's even how you do it. I can't remember how to cure a werewolf in this game, but I know that I don't want to be one. It has some benefits. Like, I'll probably do the companion shortly before I decide to do Dawn Guard, just for the fact that I won't have to carry 9 million disease potions. Of course. Of course. Bring it on, fool. Okay, that hurts. Come on, I don't want you to kill all my farmers. That's not good. Watch him one-shot me right here. Yes, oops. Sorry, Janessa. Alright. That hurt. And my horse is gone. Lovely. Oh, there it is. That's what I was worried about. Well, at least it was right here. So, kind of worked out. I need to get a raise undead spell so I can bonk the horse with, or not the horse, the dragon bones we're going to be leaving all over the world. Because if I shoot 2 of those into it, it'll just go flying out of my garden. Because now I'm going to have to... Man, he went to the garden. Why do you go to the garden? Oh, that's right. You can still do the dastardly double cross. I don't intend to do that. What is going on here with the world map? Oh well. Hopefully it updates. Yeah, what's... I'm going the right way. Okay. Whatever. Maybe it'll reset once I get into Whiterun? That's really odd. Well, our first dragon defeated. I just filled him full of lightning. Dragons eventually become relatively annoying. But they're actually not that hard of an enemy in the early game. If you're at the right, like once you start getting into the legendary and revered dragons, they're just absolute damage sponges. It takes 9 million years to deal with any of them. Oh, there's a Spriggan nearby. Let's just get out of here then. But then they become damage sponges. They take 9 million damage, and you're just it's exasperating to deal with. And their breath attacks, I mean, you saw his breath attack probably did north of 120 damage, and I do have some spell resistance, so I resisted 10% of that. So I probably resisted close to 15 or 20 damage from his attack, and he still just butchered through my health, which is, you know, a testament to the power of the dragons, right? I'm just glad he didn't kill all the farmhands in Lydia. That would suck. At some point, I'm going to need to smith her a masterwork set of armor and a weapon, and probably a bow and like one Daedric arrow or something too, just so that when dragons or something attacks the homestead, she doesn't get flung into the stratosphere. Who are you guys? Looks like farmers. Because if that becomes the norm, seeing a dragon outside of the homestead every 20 minutes, I'm gonna want her to have good gear to deal with that. Good enchanted gear. You know. Give her a masterwork shield and some other stuff like that, so she doesn't die. Give her a magic resist item. You know how hard it is to find a good steward these days? Gotta become the Thane of all 9 holds. Alright, Saadia. I think they give you 800 gold for this quest. The earlier you do it, the less you get. Excuse me. So if I were to say do this quest at like level 5, which is probably around the level you're supposed to, I think they give you like 400 gold or something like that. And that's a mechanic maybe not a lot of you know about. In Skyrim, most of the loot is leveled, so swords like Chillrend and the Nightingale Blade are good examples of this. So if you don't get them, if you get them at or after level 46, you get the most powerful version of that weapon. If you get them before level 46, you get a slightly underpowered version of that same weapon that has both less enchantment effect and it has less well, the base damage I think always stays the same, but the enchantment sucks basically, or is less than it could be.
Let me know if you want anything. I think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
Alright, I've turned you into the authorities.
Any news of the Alakir?
They bested me.
Writing song.
I was unable to defeat them all and they're coming for you.
What? How? I thought they weren't allowed within the city.
They found a way in and we need to get you out of here.
But where will I go? I can't keep running forever.
There's a horse waiting at the stables. I'll make sure you're safe.
After all this, I have to pick up and leave again? If you really think this is the only way, I trust you. Let's not waste any time. It's been a pleasure.
Smooth the rough edges.
Nice. Well, also... I lost my train of thought. Talking to Saadia knocked me off kilter.
Heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard. Vampire hunters or something in the old...
If I had $1 for every time that happened this episode, I've had $2, which isn't a lot. But it is weird that it happened twice. Alright, Saadia, I've turned you into the authorities. Hopefully she... comes with me, hopefully? Weird. Well, we could stand next to him and wait an hour and she usually spawns in. And she sends you into this den of like 20 Alakir warriors who she's convinced are master assassins. She's like, oh yeah, this random dude, he'll be able to deal with all of them. I have a hard time like suspending my disbelief sometimes about scenes in action movies, because it's like, oh yeah, this one guy just beat 20 people in a fist fight. It's like, that's not what happens. What happens is a guy comes up behind you with a brick the size of Staten Island and nails you in the side of the head. That's what happens. Hey buddy, are you Camacho? Yeah, you are. Bonk. Oh, she didn't spawn in. Bonk. Okay. Let's go back and get her. Oh, Skyrim, you never change. Alright. It looks like she was stuck on something. That might be what's going on. Come on now. Now don't get me wrong, I love a good action movie as much as the next guy, but one of the movies I think that actually does it the best way is Rambo. If you've ever seen the original Rambo, the one from, I think it was like the early 80s, maybe it was late 70s, early 80s. But if you see that Rambo with, oh man, I'm so bad at remembering everything.
Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire.
If you see the first Rambo with, there she is. Come on, girl. Sylvester Stallone. There we go. That took me a while. If you see the first Rambo with Sylvester Stallone, that's one of the movies that I think does it the best because of the way the fights go. And what I mean by that is Rambo's a Green Beret, so he's already leagues and leagues above whoever he's fighting. And I think he's a Green Beret. He served in Vietnam. So he's like a master of ambush tactics, and they go into the woods and he's just picking them off one by one or two at a time where he can get the first shot. So it turns it into like a one-on-one confrontation because he gets the first shot. So Rambo does it right. I haven't seen the ones past Rambo 1, so I don't know. But the first Rambo?
Yes. Someone stole your sweet roll.
We're one of the same kind, you and I.
Let's get to the
I'm
stables
glad to have
before they
met
find.
So, Rambo's cool. I'm also just kind of a sucker for like that 80s cheeseball action movie. Oh, please tell me this didn't glitch out. But yeah, so I am a sucker for movies like that. But they're great. You don't always have to think. The bad guy doesn't always have to have a redeeming quality. You know, sometimes the bad guy's just evil. And that's okay. Not everybody has a tragic backstory. Some people are just dicks. I mean, there's a lot of... Well, let's not get into the weeds about that. Gotta catch myself a lot. This is a Skyrim video, not a... Come on, don't glitch out on me like this. Don't do me like that. Oh, come on. This is...
Need something? All right, then.
Well, let's ask him.
What do you need? She sold the city out to the Aldmeri Dominion. Were it not for her betrayal, Tanith could have held its ground in the war. The other noble houses discovered her betrayal, and she fled. They want her brought back alive. The resistance against the Dominion is alive and well in Hammerfell, and they want justice.
See, he doesn't strike me, he never struck me as a cold-blooded, merciless killer. Because if that was the case, the bottom line is, they would be in the city, and they would have killed her in the night. Or just hired the Dark Brotherhood to do it. Like, if they wanted her gone, there was a lot of ways that they could have done that. They don't have to take her back alive. They don't have to do any of this. They can just deal with it, and then they say they do it and come back to Hammerfell with Visit her like the Thalmor visited the Emperor.
If you're heading east, steer clear of Hilgrid's tomb. Thing about those old crypts, the dead having trouble staying that way.
East. Hilgrun's tomb. Okay, thanks. Finally! Justice! At any rate.
If you need potions, you should try Arcadia's Corner.
And also, she said she was from Emiru, not Tanith. Tanith is a southern city, I think, in Hammerfell. It's like by the coast. Imagine selling out your own people to a malevolent, evil dictatorship like the Aldmeri Dominion. You know, I've always had a problem with the way... Well, let's finish this dialogue and we'll get into that if I don't forget again. Look who's waiting for you! It's your friend!
We meet at last, my dear lady.
What is this? What have you done?
Oh, come now. You didn't really expect to manipulate people forever, did you? Your luck had to run out sometime.
Bonk. God, the paralysis spell.
Now we'll take our friend here back to Hammerfell, where she will pay the price for her treason.
She won't be harmed?
Not on the way back. Once she gets there, it's not up to me to decide what's done with her. And as for you, I owe you a portion of the reward, don't I? Well, here you go. Spend it wisely, and if I may, don't allow yourself to be fooled by a pretty face. You're better than that.
Thanks.
Until next time.
Womp womp. And that concludes the tale of Saadia. They're actually nearby, so we'll go ahead and do that. But I always thought it was interesting the way the Aldmeri Dominion approached the onset of the Great War. Like, and this is a fairly common tactic as far as historical policy goes between two enemy nations, or posturing enemy nations might be a more correct way to say that. So what they'll do is they'll show up with a list of demands that is so intense that to do so would undermine the strength of your country for generations. And if you capitulate, you will, generally speaking, have a rebellion on your hands, because the people won't stand for it. Usually it comes in the form of, they used to call them war reparations. I don't really know what they're called now, but it's basically what happened to Germany after World War I. That's the whole reason that the country collapsed into the Weimar Republic, and it's, well, this isn't a history channel, but if you're interested in that, I would encourage you to read specifically about the Weimar Republic and the Freikorps. That's kind of, that'll give you a good example of what those kind of demands can do to a once proud nation. And another thing, for instance, when the Aldmeri Dominion showed up to... Again with this crap? Sayonara, Captain. So what the Aldmeri Dominion did is they showed up with this reeking cart full of the, I guess you would say, remains of the Blades agents that were all stationed in, well, they call it Alinor, but the Somerset Isles, the Thalmor call it Alinor. Why does the horse always run away? So they show up with this basket full of horror, effectively, and dump it at the Emperor's feet, and they're like, what are you going to do about it? And before that, they read him a list of demands that was, again, if he would have capitulated to these demands, especially with regard to let's call it the Talos question, because we already see what happens with regard to the Talos question. I mean, Skyrim, well, half of Skyrim is in open rebellion. And for another obvious reason, Titus Mead cannot say, at least before the war happens, he is not in a position to say, oh, well, we'll just give up our worship of effectively the first emperor of the unified empire of Cyrodiil. He wasn't in a position to do that. And the Thalmor knew this when they walked in.
I'm on a pilgrimage to the shrine of Azura, the goddess of twilight, if you'll excuse me.
The Thalmor knew he couldn't capitulate. They knew that he could never meet their demands. So they used that as an excuse to start a war, and then they basically blitzkrieged across southern Cyrodiil and southern Hammerfell, and encircled a lot of the Empire's forces and obliterated them, in some in open battle, some in sieges, in Breville and Anvil. Although I don't think Anvil actually fell. I think that was part of the reason their flank got turned and the borders went back to somewhat semblance of normalcy after the first few years of fighting. But they put the Emperor in an impossible position where he was forced to declare war. I mean, he wound up in much the same position 5 years later, but a war-weary nation, this is another thing that's pretty common in, well, in modern politics too. A war-weary nation is far more likely to capitulate and give in to demands that were at one time seen impossible, but now seem like the only option. So it definitely raises the question. Well, it raises several questions, but are you serious? What a nation will do.
I'm warning you. Back off. Boost! That's the best you can do!
The truth of the matter is,
Boost!
ooh, that's not good. Oh, I didn't save. I need to move.
Boost!
That's all you got?
I've had enough of you.
Oof. Oh, Miko for the win! Whoa. Oh, there was still a bandit alive. I thought she was after me. I guess the real lesson in all of this is be careful what you ask a population to do, because their answer may be no. And their answer might not just be no, it might be hell no, and here's what we're going to do afterwards. Be careful of the questions you are willing to ask people. Because they might not. They might not listen. And if they don't listen, what happens next? What happens then? I guess it's a lesson in diplomacy too. Are you willing to pay the consequences of your potential diplomatic actions? Generally speaking, the answer is always no. And what I mean by that is, nations, generally speaking, have a list of things they want and a list of, I guess you could call them the intolerables. A good example of this would be prior to the American Revolution, how you had the acts of raising taxes and certain other things. Like, it was the sugar tax, it was the stamp tax. They were called the Intolerable Acts for a reason. It's because the population deemed them to be intolerable. They couldn't survive under those conditions, or thought that they couldn't survive under those conditions. And generally nations have this list of, we won't tolerate XYZ for these reasons. That doesn't mean that they also don't want everything else. Willing to give, but not willing, or willing to get, but not willing to give. Aren't you cute? I wonder why they kept you caged. I wouldn't mind keeping you as a pet. What do you say? Alright. Wow, I can have like a whole little army. Alright, folks. I think that's a good spot. But, as always, rant over, right? Anyway, y'all have a good day. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for stopping by.